Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Welcome to Gulfstream Park. Ron Nicoletti along with Acacia Courtney. It is a Saturday. We have an 11 race card we're going to offer you this afternoon. We're starting today. Fast main track, firm turf course, and get the Rainbow Six starting to build. That'll start in race number 6. But yesterday was Beat the Expert Day, and of course, as usual, somebody always beats us.
Always, yes. I didn't do too well yesterday. I think I had a couple favorites win, but congratulations to Dan Cohen, Mark Jacobs. I wonder if he's related or knows the designer, but Calvin O'Donnell, congratulations to all of you. You did beat the expert, and you will be getting one of those great Gulfstream Park polo shirts.
Well, maybe Calvin O'Donnell's related to Calvin Klein.
Maybe.
We don't know what we're talking about here. As I mentioned, fast main track, firm turf course this afternoon. Let's go through the wagering menu. We're going to start it off today with the rolling super high 5. And anytime we have 7 or more runners in a field, we have we offer the super high 5. And then we have 2 pick 5s this afternoon. And the pick 5s starts in race number 1, the first of our 2 pick 5s. And Acacia is going to have a ticket in just a couple of moments to show you that. And as I mentioned, the Rainbow Six starting to build now.
It is $52,000 plus. That starts in race 6 today with our 11 race format. We even have a little overnight stakes action today as well. And then we cap things off with the late pick 5, just a 50-cent wager as well. That will begin in race 7 today.
Race number 7, and always a great bet, and only a 50-cent wager, so you can add a couple of more horses. And Acacia's been doing very well with her tickets, so always be smart, pay attention. So the first race this afternoon, 5 furlongs on the turf, starter optional claimer, fillies and mares, 4 and up, started for $12,500 or less, or the optional claiming price of $12,500. Do have a scratching here of the number 1 horse, and that's a Fancy Madeline. And I told you to pay attention because here comes our first of 2 rainbows, pick 5 tickets, excuse me.
Right here in the first race. I'll do my best with that nice intro from Ron, but I'm going to spread in the first race. I wanted some coverage. Early in the wagering, we do see favoritism going to Scuba Sue, but I do like a couple of prices in here to kick things off. So using 4 horses to start, then 3 horses in the second leg. I could not single in. I was able to narrow in on just 2 horses in the final 3 legs. I really like Dr. Corday in the 4th race, but I'm going to be backing myself up with Happy Wanderer. Then using 2 horses in the 5th as well, $48.
Yeah, and when you see my Rainbow Six ticket a little later on, I just couldn't find that single. We always try and find that single, and you should too if you can, if you really like a horse, because of course, you know, you can spread in those other races that might be more wide open. With that said, we'll start it off with the horse that you just said is the 2-to-1 favorite, and that is current favorite, Scuba Sue, who moved to the Rashawn Crakey barn via the claim, faces 12-5 optional claimers. I want to go back and show you the stretch. I'm going to actually show you the head-on of the stretch here of Scuba Sue. And now what you're going to see, hold it up there a second, and you will just see this is right here. Now, I want you to notice the white blinkers there, and just watch what happens to this horse during the stretch. We're going to let it go right down. You can let it run now, and you just see this horse just gets carried out wide, and it didn't lose by that much, and you'll see it just happens all the way down, just keeps getting pushed out. The white blinkers that afternoon is Scuba Sue.
Unfortunately, did get pushed out really far in the stretch and still managed to hold on to be beaten by 3/4 of a length. Now, you see the horse with the white blaze on the outside. That's Port McGee, who did end up winning that race. Blue Bahia, the 2nd place finisher, did come back to win again with a 79 buyer speed figure. So Scuba Sue, been in great form lately, but I do expect her to go, and I think that there's quite a bit of speed in this race.
And you did go with the number 3 horse in here, a horse I did not use on my ticket, and I want to know why.
Oh, that's Sweet Butterfly. I'm taking another shot with Sweet Butterfly. Now, I alluded to the fact that I thought that there was quite a bit of speed in this first race. We did have a scratch of Fancy Madeline, who probably would have been on the engine from the rail in here. That makes me even more sure that Scuba Sue was going to go now being in the rail. Miss World Venezuela, Storm and Charlotte, I Will Be Free. It looks like they will all be on the engine early. So I wanted a horse that might be able to close and pick up the pieces, and that is Sweet Butterfly. Actually ran a very good race last time out. 2 starts at back, did actually come out of that same race as Scuba Sue that Port McGee won, but she was bumped at the start, was steadied. She had a world of trouble in that race, and last time out she actually did even have to tap the brakes early. She came up the rail, but she was kind of late changing leads as well, and that is how she ended up just being beaten a neck. I do think that she can actually be competitive against this field, and pace-wise could set up for her.
Yeah, and you'll get a bit of a price on her. You see her currently at 6-1 up there. The horse I threw in second, you had in fourth, was Goodbye Sorrow. I actually had the one horse I thought, for all the reasons you mentioned, I thought this horse was going to be a major speed play from the inside, so I moved up number 9, Goodbye Sorrow, in for this 12-5 tag in this optional claiming event. Drops after back-to-back fourth-place finishes, but that's against 25 optional claimers. Armando de la Cerda's the trainer's got Nick Juarez in the saddle, and I just thought on the drop, and I don't think this horse needs the lead, and I think that this horse should be somewhere on the ticket.
I think you do have to use her. That's why I did end up going 4 deep in here. Now, they added the blinkers back on, and she didn't show any improved speed last time out. Actually, she was a little bit headstrong, a little bit ranked 2 starts back. I think that she's better when she's closer to the pace, so maybe the dropping class is going to help, because I did think that she kind of flattened out in her last 2.
Well, the horse that you use in third, I use in fourth, and that's the number 7 horse in here. And I added this one, to be honest, after the scratch of the 1.
I actually kind of liked Forest Funds, the number 7. First time for Jane Sibeli. Last time out, did have a lot of trouble, did clip heels a little bit, and was breaking from the outside. I think actually ran a sneaky good race in the Claiming Crown Distaff Dash. 2 starts back, was incredibly wide in that race.
And I use one of those speed horses in third, and that's I'll Be Free. Raises sharp at the 16 level since coming back from that like 7-week freshening. Won once, was drifted a little bit with second. So I just thought that horse, you know, bit of a speed play in the opener, and maybe you're right with that 3 horse coming from off the pace, and that's the beauty of handicapping. We'll see how that works out. Now the second race this afternoon, 6 furlongs allowance optional claimer. These are state-bred 4-year-olds and up. They're running, or they can run for that optional claiming price of $12,500. 7 in the field, no scratches, no jockey changes in here. We got our, I think we have our 2 flip-flop. You went with the 4 JB Quick, who was second to the horse I put on top, and that's Bulldozer.
I did. I'm just thinking that JB Quick might be able to get the jump on Bulldozer today. I think Bulldozer ran a very good race last time out, but JB Quick does come out of Stakes Company, actually, and I really think that he's a better horse than he appears on paper in his last 2 starts. If you go back to his race, actually 3 starts back, where he was second to Bulldozer, he ran a huge race that day. Again, Bulldozer had just been in great form at that point. Bulldozer has had some subsequent starts, so I like that JB Quick has been freshened since the Trust Buster, where he was trying Stakes Company, and he actually did show a lot of tenacity 2 starts back when he was wide to be second.
Yeah, it's from the Ralph Xavier Newman, Edgar Zayas, for all the reasons you mentioned. But I did go with Bulldozer because trying to make it 2 in a row after responding the first start after the claim by Saffie Joseph Jr., really that hard-fought victory at this level and distance. And I think these 2 are the logical 2 in the race. And we closed it out with the 6 Express Jet, who's hoping to turn the tables on Bulldozer after surrendering that late. Finished second to him last time out.
He did, by just half a length. So I think if you like Bulldozer, you have to give Express Jet a little bit of a look. Emmy Sale Jaramillo going to be up today.
Let's go to race number 3 this afternoon, and this is a 6 furlong claimer. 4 end up, and non-winners of 3 races in lifetime, $6,250, and 7 will go in here. So there will be super high 5 wagering in race number 3. And I went with Gone Deep in here, and you have it on your ticket. So I'll start in here with Gone Deep, who's sitting on a winning performance, at least I believe, after returning from about a 5-month layoff to come within the nose as the favorite of winning at this level and distance.
Yes, Gone Deep came off of a 5-month layoff. He was the favorite that day. He's 8-5 on the morning line. That, for lack of better expression, that was not a strong field last time out that he did face. And yes, he ran a good race. Maybe he will improve. Maybe he'll win today. I just really did prefer others and just couldn't take him at a short price in here. I know off of that performance he does warrant respect, but prior to that, yes, he was running against a bit tougher, but it was over at Delaware and Monmouth. I just didn't know if he was really perhaps as good as his short price or his potential favoritism might make him out to be. So I looked looked for an alternative, and I did land on the number 7, Bobby's Lucky 7. First off the claim for Rashawn Creaky, and did win last time out to get the non-winners of 2. That was off of a layoff. So he's got his own fair share of questions, and I think that that's the beauty of this field. So it actually does make it a pretty good betting race because a lot of them do have their own questions. So first off the claim with winners last time out, not the biggest sample size for the barn, but has actually had some success. So I'll give this one a stab on the outside.
And, you know, remarkable tale. The number 6 is dropping to this level after stepping up to face 12-5 condition claimers and finishing a slow starting 5th in that race. That was going 7 furlongs. I think the turn back will help in here. Now, the horse on paper is the 5 that, if you're just handicapping and looking at it, is the one that's could won at this distance. Showed he could win when he skipped a condition and defeated non-winners of 3 lifetime claimers. That was back on March 26th. He turns back. He got in trouble last time. He finished 7th, so proved that he could win at this level. And we mention all the time how, you know, winning, going through your conditions is really hard. This one skipped a condition and somehow won.
Yes, he did. And kind of to reiterate, again, not the strongest field that day, but still he won by open lengths. And I think that this is actually one of the better horses that the barn does have. And he was well beaten last time out. He was unprepared at the start, and he does get a class relief today.
Well, let's go to race number 4 this afternoon. 1 mile on the turf. Special weight state-bred 3-year-olds. We do have a scratch in here of the number 4, Fantastic Kitten, yeah. Had my finger on his name over there. And you mentioned you like the Dr. Corday in here, but you couldn't single him, and I agree. We have Happy Wanderer. But let's start it off with Dr. Corday.
Yes, he is the have-to lady shipman, of course. We've been talking about him in his first couple starts here at Gulfstream. He showed a lot of promise in his debut race, and I remember actually even talking to Gary McLaughlin's assistant afterwards, saying that they were really hopeful after that performance and really thought that he was going to turn out to be a nice runner. He was beaten just by half a length to be 4th in his debut race, and normally this barn does take a little bit more of a patient approach, not necessarily asking their horses to win at first asking, and he ran a very strong race, splitting horses in there. In his subsequent start, he finished a distant 2nd behind in closing as the favorite, but again, I did think it was another useful performance from him with a little bit of trouble start. Then he even tried some stakes competition at Tampa last out.
Yeah, and you know, Dr. Corday certainly bred to be any type from a great barn. Kieran McLaughlin, Kieran, of course, here all winter with us at the championship meet, has been tearing it up at Keeneland. So his horse, I think, is going to run very well. Now the number 1, Happy Wanderer, is going to depart from the rail. Going to stretch, and after stretching out for 5 furlongs to a mile and set swift fractions, we're going to go back and show you. We're going to start it off by showing you the first quarter of this race with the pan shot. And this horse that day is the number 4. You can start rolling it now. You're just going to see this horse goes out and really gets the lead. And, you know, you can understand it going from, you know, 5 furlongs stretching out to a mile. And I just thought this horse, you know, really had a thing. And you could see how this horse, he's really trying to hold the horse back there. And I just thought it was a really good performance for the first quarter of a mile here. And you can just see the horse running on and went really quick, went 22.82 for that first quarter. So, you know, that was really motoring. And you can understand, like I say, from the stretch out. Let's stop it there for 1 second. Well, flip, keep going. I just wanted to show the time. Now what we're going to do is just stop it right there. And there's the time. So the went very fast. They went to half, 46.75, 3 quarters in 10 and 3. So they were just really motoring in here. Now we're going to go and pick it up. And we can just watch the stretch run as this horse turns for home. And what happens is, after going all that way, starts to drift out a little bit in the stretch, and you'll just see it there. And somehow, you know, runs very well. Finishes 2nd, only gets beat a neck, and I just think the horse, in my estimation, went too fast too early.
I absolutely agree with you, and I must disagree on one point. I actually really didn't like the first part of the race because I thought that he was kind of a bit rank. He was out too fast. He did show a lot of promise, a lot more speed on that stretch out, and he held gamely for 2nd, which I certainly agree. Now, 2nd time going a route of ground, should be able to improve, and that's why I just couldn't single in here. Just hopefully, especially with the rail post position today, he's able to wrangle that speed a little bit and not just run around with such crazy fractions like last time. You could see he did look kind of hard to handle for Luis Saez last time, but we'll show a stat on Bill Mott as well. A little bit of a cautionary stat. Of course, Bill Mott, one of the best trainers out there, but with in the money last time out at the maiden special weight level, the second time going a route of ground on the turf, which is exactly what this horse was doing. Just 6 for 35. It is 27% win. It's 63% in the money, negative ROI of 134. It's certainly not terrible, but I think that this one, he will be able to improve. Again, I just think the key is that he doesn't run away from that rail post.
I wish I could pick winners at a 27% clip.
That is true.
The number 2, Dopo Lavoro, earned a spot on my ticket at least after responding to a surface switch and the stretch out from a sprint to a route where they removed the blinkers and the front wraps, and this horse ran second last time out. I thought it was a nice performance.
It was a really nice performance from him, trying the turf for the first time. You mentioned a lot of changes. I actually almost included this horse on the pick 5 because he really did improve, but just stuck with the 2.
Let's go to race number 5 this afternoon, and this one is a 7 furlong claimer, 4 and up, $6,250, and I went with the number 2 horse in here, Starship Apollo. You went to the inside with the number 1, and that's I think that's the morning line favorite, and that's Chief Envoy.
I just think that Chief Envoy is going to blast off from the rail. Talking about speed from the inside, I really think that that's going to be the key for Chief Envoy. He was second by just 3/4 of a length last time out at this level and at the 6 furlongs. He's stretching out a little bit to the 7/8 where he has had a win before, and I just think that speed from the inside is really going to be the key for him. And actually, Angel Quiroz in the past year has actually done pretty well off of the claim.
Well, talking about first off the claims, it's until Safi Joseph Jr. does something wrong, I'm going to keep picking him. And that is Starship Apollo. He moved to his barn, wheels back at the same level and distance, but he's got to improve off that 3rd place finish last time out. But we've been showing stats with Mr. Joseph, just been doing a fantastic job.
And we'll show another one because why not? But Safi Joseph Jr., first off the claim with winners last time out. And this is just looking over the past year. It's not the biggest sample size when he does find a horse that but this is actually going to be the wrong one then if it's a winner last time out, because this horse did not win last time out, so excuse me for that. But anyway, we've been doing all of those stats, as you said. It has been just incredible stats and how he's placing them in the right spot, and I think that that's really the key for it. Now, this horse, he does have to improve. He seems to like run a good one and then regress a little bit, so we'll see if he can capture some of that previous form.
Yeah, and we both used the other Starship horse, Starship Apache, trying to make it 2 in a row, responding to first start after that claim by Dave Casson. Late closing score at this level and distance. If a horse like the one what I thought would go out and beat on the lead and gets challenged, sets up for a horse like Starship Apache.
I think so too. And if you look at his race 2 starts back, that was just too bad, and you have to put a line through it. He was pinched back at the start and drawn outside.
Well, let's take a break, and when we come back, we will show you my Rainbow 6 ticket.
At ExpressBet, we celebrate the champions that make horse racing great. That's why we provide more ways to bet from more places than ever. We've built an entire family of brands to give players more of the rewards they deserve, give bettors the information they need to win, and provide a community for horse bettors. Because the best way to support the champions of horse racing is to champion horse racing. ExpressBet, we are racing.
Race 6 this afternoon, 1 mile on the turf. Maiden claim is 3-year-olds and upward, and we're starting a Rainbow 6 with a full field of 10 runners. And let's quickly go to my ticket in here, and was so tempted. My best bet of the afternoon is actually the number 2, More Alex, but I just couldn't single it because I like False Accusation at a price. So I used those 2, and you see the rest of progression. Stepped it up a little bit to $57.60, and that is my template. Could not find a single today.
I like it, and I like your price play because that's my top pick.
There you go. So that's we'll work that out a little later on. But let me show you the number 2, More Alex, moved to the Elizabeth Dobles barn after the claim. Steps up today to the $35,000 level. Adds blinkers. But I want to show you the start of this horse's last race, and this is twice in a row. And we will see this horse this day is the number 3. So keep your eye on the number 3 right there when it comes out. And we just want to point that to you, and you'll see it come out now. Watch. All right, stop it there. As you can see, did not come out. It was behind the field. So now let it run. And just spots the field 3 lengths there, and we're going to let it run. We're going to pick it up in the top of the stretch home. And it just, spotted the field. Now you're going to see the horse turn it for home. And I just thought it was a huge performance. You could stop it right there for a second, please. And you will see right there that the horse is coming in wide. And I just thought it was a great performance by the horse. Okay, let it roll, and we'll just see how this horse comes flying late after being, dwelling at the start and just getting beaten. Look, you can see the 3 just coming right down to the wire, and as I mentioned, gets beat a neck.
And big props to Tyler Gaffleone on that ride, too, to even get that horse so close to the wire, as it was just such a tight finish. That was not only the second time in a row. That was actually the 4th time in a row that horse has been slow out of the gate or dwelt at the start. Maybe the blinkers will help. He actually did wear blinkers early on in his career and did get off slow in that race as well. I certainly have a lot of hope for him still, and Elizabeth Doble's just doing an excellent job off of the claim and with all of her runners, really. Maybe I'm a little salty because I picked him last time and he dwelt again at the start and still couldn't get the win, but he absolutely does have a world of talent.
Well, false accusation to me is an obvious choice to score after prompting the pace, finishing second at this level in distance, 6-1 on the morning line. I thought he was the one to beat.
I thought so too on paper, and last time out had dropped from the maiden 50 level to the maiden 35 level, and maybe that's why there are still some hesitations about him, because he has already been exposed against a bit lower. He actually ran against this level a few starts back where he was beaten just by half a length to be 3rd. So he's kind of been knocking on the door in some of his starts, but I really think some horses, it takes a little bit longer for the light bulb to click, and it looks like he's one that's moving in the right direction.
And the other horse I didn't throw on my ticket, and I know it might cost me his lunch break, a $95,000 Son of Arts debuting for Todd Pletcher. 7 Palm Beach Downs workout showing, gets Lasix, Eddie Castro named to ride.
Oh, we'll show a stat on Todd Pletcher in the past 5 years. First-time starters on the turf and maiden claiming, just 2 for 28 and just 7 for 28 in the money with a negative ROI. So we know that he just, first of all, doesn't really debut horses that frequently at the maiden claiming level. This one cost nearly $100,000 at the Keeneland sale and will debut for the $35,000 tag.
Well, race number 7 this afternoon, 1 mile on the turf. Claimers 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 races in life. $30,000 down to $25,000. And this is no lie. Even though Mr. Pinocchio is in this race, this is where the final pick 5 starts.
I knew you were going to get something in from Mr. Pinocchio. I love it. But we'll give you a look at my ticket here to start things off. And no lie, I do use Mr. Pinocchio. Now we'll see if he can win by a nose in here. He'll be on my ticket to start things off. 2 deep in the 8th, 2 in the 9th, spreading in the 10th, and 2 in the finale. Again, could not single. I agree with you on the later part of the sequence. Pretty tough to narrow in on.
Well, how'd you start it off in here with what horse on top?
Well, I went to the rail with the number 1 Aquatine, who did win last time out. Actually, since he moved into the barn of Joe Catanese, his last 2 races were very strong, and I think it's because he was actually running at a level that he was fitting. He had run actually really strong races against maiden special weight company with Bill Downing prior to that at Laurel and even here at Gulfstream as well. But I think the maiden 50 level last time out, he just met the right kind of field and was able to get the win that day. He's got some speed to him, so I do wonder if he'll be able to send from the rail here today.
And Mr. Pinocchio, I used this horse just on the drop into this 32 lifetime level after returning from a 6-month layoff. He finished last, but it was the $100,000 Cutler Bay. I think they've put this horse where it can be effective. Now, one other horse I wanted to mention, you used down there Little Sky, but I wanted to go to Leopard Cat, who you have in 4th and I have 3rd. I like this horse today. This one went to the Tino Retard barn after the claim, steps up to the next logical level. He rallied late. He defeated 25 maidens, going 9 furlongs last time out. Edgar Zayas, 12-1. I think you got it. You go back and look at this horse.
It's a good price on him, and actually the more that you look at this race, the more it does look like there could be a lot of potential speed that could set up for somebody like Mr. Pinocchio, who unfortunately was on a day. He was just really up against the bias. It was speed favoring really that day. Dover Cliff's the only one in that race really making up ground behind the the pace setter of Jamal Agister, but Leopard Cat ran really nicely last time out on the second time in the drop.
And number 8, Little Sky, used this beat to break his maiden on the turf back on February 3rd.
He ran pretty well last time on the sloppy track, but I do think obviously he prefers the turf. This race 3 starts back, drawn outside. You can put a line through that. He wants to be on the front end, I think.
Race number 8 this afternoon, 6 furlongs, maiden special weight, state-bred 3-year-olds, 9 in the field, no scratches. So not an easy task getting this late pick 5 and this Rainbow 6 together, because we got these great full fields in here. And you went with the number 9 horse in here, and that's pretty Fort Liberty, I believe it is.
Yes, it is. This horse is coming off of about a 6-month layoff, so of course that is the concern, I guess, really. But he really didn't run a step in that one race, and then he was drawn outside. It was at Gulfstream Park West, where we know is a track is very hard to make up ground on. He didn't really make up any ground after that, and then it was followed by an extended layoff, so I can be more forgiving of that race. But his debut race, I thought, was very strong, where he finished second at First Asking back in August of 2016. He is now coming back, but I love the work tab for him. He's nicely bred. He's by First Dude, pretty precocious sire, and the dam was a multiple stakes winner as well. So we'll see if he can get the job done today for Ralph Nix.
As you can see, our selection's a wide open race. I did use the 8 for the Gipper on top. He's going to try the state-bred maiden special weight competition, switch from turf to dirt, from route to a sprint, and finish second. 50 maiden test going a mile. I like the connections. Armando de la Cerda, Eddie Castro named to ride.
He is one to respect. I liked his last race. I just didn't like how he fared against state-bred special weight company. 3 starts back, sprinting as well, but he should be able, I think that served as a good prep for him last time out.
Well, let's go to the 9th race this afternoon. 7 1/2 furlongs on the turf. Claimers 3 and up. Non-winners of 3 races in life. $16,000. Scratch the also eligible in here. Number 13. And I went to the outside, and boy, I like this horse. I wish he wasn't in post 12, and that is Tiger Poor. Goes to the Ricky Griffin Bond after the claim, turns back to 7 1/2, responded to a drop down in competition. Well meant, 5th place finish, beaten the length as the favorite versus this level of competition. The obvious concern is post 12, but the track, the turf course, has been really kind to the horses that can get position early on, and I'm not as concerned as I was early on in the championship meet with the post outside.
Yes, I don't think you have to completely cross off horses like you used to do. And I looked at this horse for a long time. He's burned a lot of money in his recent starts, taking a lot of money as the favorite. He is drawn outside, as you mentioned. He was gaining really strongly last time out with Johnny Velasquez in the saddle at this $16,000 level. But I did go to the opposite end of the spectrum to the rail, Color Me Pegasus, who's taking a drop in class. I actually just really think he's going to send from the rail, and that's going to be the key. I remember really liking this horse last fall, and when he did finally switch over to the turf, and he does not like a turf with any sort of give in it, so hopefully he will get that firm turf that he has promised today, and that does seem to be where he's most comfortable. Sends from the rail, and I think that that's going to be the key for him.
We do agree on one horse, and that's the 4 Island Therapy. Dropping to the 16 level first start. He showed some early speed. He faded. That was back-to-back 50 starter allowance races before the layoff.
Yes, he is dropping in class. We'll show a stat on Jason Service in the past 5 years from allowance to claiming on the turf at Gulfstream Park. Not the biggest sample size, but very strong numbers. 3 for 8 winning, 5 for 8 in the money, and an ROI of more than $3. And just in general, we've seen some really, really nice runners from the Service barn lately.
If your name is Service, you've run well here at
Yes,
Gulfstream
absolutely.
Park, whether it's John or Jason. So I thought a logical horse in there, and I went with the 11, talking about getting stuck on the outside, turning back slightly. He was a bid, produced a 3rd place finish, beating a half, a length similar, going a mile. Once again, I'm going to prove that these outside posts today have got to run well.
You're going to get them home no matter what. I did use the number 6, top of the page, also dropping in class for Armando de la Cerda.
Well, we want to get to the feature race of the afternoon, and that is race number 10, 7 furlongs fillies, 3-year-olds, never won a sweepstakes. It's called the Game Face, and I just thought that this race, the class is the 3, Brahms Cat, 1 Jacob's Rocket Girl, never been on a fast track, but boy, was that horse impressive.
Yes, she was really impressive, and she does come out of what's turned out to be a monster key race. I know that that's always a good angle for you, but 3 next out winners, the 3 finishers right behind her, all came back to win. Overture, Cadofina, and Our Next Roll, just really strong performances from all 3 of them to win. Now, Jacob's Rocket Girl in that race was the only one with some experience in a field of first-time starters. It was a sloppy track, but she still won by 7.5 lengths against a nice field.
Well, let's go back. I want wanted, I mentioned the 3 is the class of the field. You have in second, that's Brahms Cat, who finished third in the distance in the grade 2 forward girl here in February, and that's the performance we want to go back and show you. Now, this particular day, Brahms Cat was the number 5, so we're going to show you the start here, the number 5 right there. Keep your eye on the horse, and I just think that she, ends up sitting behind the field. You'll see that she's last. To stop it right there for a second, you can just see right there that she's back there. So she's, she's already a bit compromised at 7/8 of a mile. So let it roll now. And I just wanted to show that performance. I'm going to switch to the top of the stretch. And she closes in this race to be third. I thought it was a pretty nice performance. And we're going to stop it right there for a second. And there she is coming. She gave a great try. After breaking slowly, you can let it run now. And I thought it was a good performance there. And it's grade 2 company.
It really is. And she was running, and you see the 4 is Pretty City Dancer, the 2 Tecalita, a horse that was really on the upswing for Michael Matz. And you can also see that the 2 Tecalita is drifting out. So that does force Brahms Cat to be even a little bit wider.
And, the horse that I put on top was the number 5, My Miss Tappet, a beautifully bred $550,000 daughter of Tappet, who ran to her breeding and her looks. When she recovered from a bump at the start, she won her career debut going away. It's Pletcher, MSCL Jaramillo. So another horse. We got them all on there, just different ways.
Yes, you really do have to use this horse, and I really wanted to put her even higher up, but then I wanted to use Brahms Cat, and I actually really did want to include the number 8 Actress. Talking about the Service Barn, she's a maiden facing restricted stakes company in here, but she is beautifully bred. She's by Tappet, out of a multiple stakes winner and multiple graded stakes place mare who earned more than $1 million. So we'll see if she's able to be the maiden against the winners in here.
And race 11 this afternoon, 7.5 furlongs on the turf. Maiden claim is 3-year-olds and upwards. Scratch the 3, 13, 14, and number 15. I went with the number 8 here, Twist Cat Candy, stretching out to 7.5 after responding to a drop down, an addition of blinkers with a second. That was going 5 furlongs. Dave Casson, Marcos Meneses added distance this afternoon.
It is added distance, and maybe that last race sharpened her up a little bit. Second time with the blinkers, she might show more speed. I almost thought that she would prefer 1 turn versus 2 turns, but if she does so, or he, does show preferred improved speed today, that could be the key. I did land on the 6 Milo Diamond, who is dropping down a little bit to the 12.5 company and cutting back a bit to 7.5 furlongs from the mile and a 16th. Just thought that he's been knocking on the door.
I see a number 12 up there.
Yes.
So you decided to use the 12 Disco Man somewhere on your ticket list. So 7.5 furlongs on the turf. So I just think these races today are a great betting races, wide open, big fields, and if you can get the Rainbow 6 today, you're doing a good job.
Yes, you are. Best of luck.
We have to take care of these horses that give us so much joy. Being a